I recently rewatched Fight Club, this time in cinemas, in celebration of the movie's 25th anniversary. And initially, I was going to make this video about nihilism versus masculinity. But, just like every other time I rewatch Fight Club, I gained a new perspective on the movie and in life. Fight Club isn't against nihilism, but rather how we respond to it. It's an interpretation I haven't seen anyone else on YouTube talk about. So hopefully this video will give you some interesting insight on the movie. Nihilism, the rejection of all religious and moral principles, in the belief that life is meaningless, the belief that nothing matters. Edward Norton's character, the narrator, is nihilistic. He indulges in meaningless activities and works a job he doesn't care about. I would argue his insomnia is a metaphor for his nihilistic existence. Him wanting to cure his insomnia can be interpreted as him wanting to find meaning in his life. When he says,
"When you have insomnia, you're never really asleep, and you're never really awake."
When he says this, he is reflecting on his nihilistic way of living. His life is so void of meaning that he doesn't even feel alive. He tries to find meaning through materialism, buying furniture and decorating his house. But nothing changes. It's his futile search for meaning in a meaningless world that causes his breaking point. It wasn't the group therapy sessions that helped him. It was him finally surrendering himself to nihilism.
Losing all hope was freedom.
Nothing matters. When his apartment exploded, burned everything that was inside, he reacted very nonchalantly. Because he set up the explosives himself. He wanted this. He accepts that none of his material belongings gave him any meaning.
It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything.
He wanted freedom. Freedom from the materialism and consumerism of the modern world. And he severed his connection with the material world by burning everything he owned. Because none of that shit matters. There is a common misconception that those who are nihilistic don't care about anything. Nothing matters, so they have no obligation to do anything with their lives. Some may even resort to ending it. Don't do that, by the way. And that is definitely true for some nihilists. However, there are a lot who see nihilism as freedom. When the narrator finally stopped searching for meaning and purpose, he was finally free. There were no more expectations and pressure to find purpose. Life was now in creative mode. However, accepting that you and everyone around you have absolutely zero meaning is a hard pill for anyone to swallow. We all want to be special. We all want to mean something.
You are not special. You are not a beautiful or unique snowflake. You are the same decaying organic matter as everything else.
The narrator copes with the meaningless of life by creating an ultra-masculine split personality in the form of Brad Pitt's Tyler Durden, who is literally me, by the way. Reject nihilism or embrace it. This is a big theme in Fight Club. The narrator rejects nihilism in hopes of finding meaning in meaningless activities, and the other embraced the meaninglessness of it all. Modern society and advertising tells us that being a consumer is the antidote to nihilism, that we can buy our way into meaning and purpose. A fancy apartment will finally give us something to live for. Tyler Durden understands that this is bullshit and rejects consumerism, and instead embraces nihilism with a masculine zest. He knows there's no point in anything, but he isn't fazed by it. By embracing nihilism, Tyler Durden sees things for how they are. When nothing around you matters, you start to really see what your priorities are.
No fear, no distractions. The ability to let that which does not matter truly slide.
When nothing else matters, Tyler realized the only thing he was left with was his masculine aggression. And by creating Fight Club, Tyler Durden created an avenue for his masculinity in a world without meaning. The modern world is void of meaning and emasculates men. Working unfulfilling jobs, indulging in pointless activities, and searching for self-worth through material possessions. By rejecting this world, the speaker becomes Tyler Durden. In other words, he rejected modernity and embraced masculinity. One of the most important traits of a masculine man is having purpose. You could say that you can't be both masculine and nihilistic. They contradict each other, right? But Tyler Durden would say otherwise. Absurdism best describes Tyler Durden's philosophy. Absurdism is a philosophy mostly attributed to philosopher Albert Camus. Absurdism is a philosophy that states humans crave purpose, but the world is purposeless. The absurd and irrational position is to continue seeking for purpose despite knowing there is none. This makes Tyler Durden a hero of the absurd. Tyler Durden accepts that the world is meaningless, but he still chooses to rebel against it with pure, unadulterated masculinity through Fight Club.
When the fight was over, nothing was solved, but nothing mattered.
They found meaning in meaningless fighting. Fight Club is a group of guys who beat the shit out of each other for no reason other than to just do it. It's masculinity in its most primal, purest form. They're not even sure why they do it, but it just feels right. Perhaps it's the community and the common goal of mindless violence. Today's generation of men are lacking in having a great purpose. Our forefathers fought in wars, so they all had clear purposes. Fighting other men for their freedom gave their lives purpose. However, men in the modern age don't have the luxury to die on a battlefield. So instead, they channel their masculine aggression through Fight Club. Just like real wars, none of it actually matters. It's the feeling we're after. The feeling of testosterone-fueled rage. The feeling that even though in the end it doesn't matter, in this present moment, we are alive.